All right, welcome back to our weekly life webinar. So happy to have you guys here today. As you can tell, we're going to be going over the needs analysis form that we spoke about a couple weeks back on one of the webinars. So we have Mr. Tim here to get us started. Like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, we definitely appreciate you putting those in the box so that we can get those answered. And of course, if you have any questions at a later time, email me, give me a call, whatever the case may be. Sure, Mr. Tim will have his information up in there. So if there's anything there as well, if you guys have anything, let us know. But thank you for attending, and we'll pass it right over to Mr. Tim.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Appreciate everybody taking time out of the day. I know everybody's busy. But this is the first of a series of follow-up webinars we're going to do. All of you that were on the initial LARC presentation, yes, very, very long. I think it was an hour, maybe an hour plus. None of these follow-up webinars will be quite that long. We're just hitting small pieces within LARC as we go. So the confidential needs analysis form, we're going to go over today and cover kind of the information that is needed to work with these clients, and also why and all that good stuff. So I'm going to mute my face here so we can get the presentation started. I do have Bobby Niram on here. He's our VP of Life Sales. He's out of the office today traveling, so you get just me today. But we always have to start off with our disclaimer. And of course, not only can't Brokers International provide tax and legal advice, it's just something we can't do. We can talk generalities about taxes, like, if you take a withdrawal from an annuity pre-59 and a half and so forth, are you going to be tax and penalized? Sure. But we don't get into, how much and how, those you do have to consult a tax professional. In fact, even you as an agent can't provide tax and legal advice for your client either. I guess unless you hold a license to do things like that. But for the most part, we just have to be real careful that, we're talking about providing solutions to clients, some opportunities for them for their current situation. So just keep that in mind. We're never going to recommend anything specifically. We're going to give you options and see what best fits the client and their needs, and they can decide. So, but if you remember on the LARC presentation, this is the Life and Annuity Resource Center, LARC for short, for Eldercare. And we went over the annuity training, which is a great spot to go in, get some training done, learn a lot about life and annuities. There will be a life one on here as well. I think this is an older snapshot of this. The financial inventory, which is what we're going to talk about today. Once you gather information and you want to submit it, you go to Ask a Specialist and submit that form and answer a few more questions. Ultimately, if you get that email back with what some scenarios are, you can get appointed and submit an application actually with your client. But let's talk about the confidential needs analysis. Now, I don't expect anybody to read any of these words on here, but this is a place to collect basic information that we're going to need to not only run an illustration, but also the information that would be needed should you get to wanting to write an application. This information is very important to keep in your records as well. In the annuity space now, we talk about what is in the best interest of the client. So keeping a very, very extensive file of every client you meet with, notes of what you talked about, information that you gathered, information they shared, only helps us on the back end to say, well, hey, based upon the information that the client shared with us, and you have that documentation, that's the reason we come up with this solution and so forth. So obviously basic information, your name, date of birth, height and weight, social security number, driver's license, address, and phone. If you're working with a couple, then of course you will want both of that. Do we have to have a social security number to run an illustration? No, we don't. But ultimately, that's information you would need in the end to actually write an illustration, or I'm sorry, write an application. But keep in mind, I've had to tell agents many times that'll say, well, hey, can you run me a generic illustration? Because the client didn't want to give me a lot of information about where their money is, how much they got, how old they are, all this information, which tells me, hey, you know what? You haven't gained that trust with that client yet. They're not sharing that information for a reason. So this is a great way to gather trust as well, not only just the information we need to do our job and you to do yours. And then down here, we want to know, do they have any long-term care insurance or long-term care of any kind? It's very essential to know so we can give solutions based upon needs that we know they're going to happen. You know, we know once we get into retirement and the longer we live, the greater chance of needing some sort of extended care is going to happen. So here we ask them, you know, do you have long-term care insurance? What are your benefits? What company is it with? And so forth. And then you ask them right there. Most people have 4 concerns regarding long-term care. You know, what are your concerns and so forth. So very crucial to gather this long-term care information for sure. And then we're going to ask them about life insurance. And of course, this is where you're asking them the question of, do you have anything that looks like life insurance? Because it doesn't necessarily have to mean life insurance itself. Annuities is a life insurance product. But some people might say, yes, I have insurance because I have an income, a pension, or whatever it might be. People look at that as insurance. But if they have particular life insurance, here's where we're going to throw in what that is. How much coverage do they have? What type of life insurance? Is it term or whole life, or index universal life, monthly premium, things like this. The key to gathering this information is, you know, I tell everybody that nothing gets cheaper in this world. With inflation, everything costs more. But oddly enough, insurance actually gets cheaper throughout life, and the reason is mortality changes. You know, with modern medicine and people living longer and so forth, actually the price of insurance does get cheaper. Now, it does go up, of course, the older you are, but a lot of times if someone's got life insurance, just seeing what type they have, and if there's any cash value to that puts them in a much better position. Hey, with the cash value you have, you can get X amount more death benefit and so forth. So huge opportunity here in the life insurance space, at least. And then, of course, we want to know, what about their retirement income space? Where is their source of income coming from? They might still be working. They might still be employed, and it's just employment income. But if they are retired, where are they getting that? Is it coming from a pension, Social Security, or even an employer plan? You can add your notes here, anything you gather from that client here. But this is going to be valuable information, of course, that you're submitting through the LARC system. So let's talk about this. When we were talking about long-term care, life insurance, and retirement income, just by getting answers from your client, because if they answer no to long-term care and no, I'm not self-insured, then, you know, the opportunity there is an index universal life with living benefits, because life insurance obviously still comes with very many living benefits. It's not just upon death. Number 2, let's say they said, no, we don't have long-term care, but yes to being self-insured. So here's an opportunity for that long-term care annuity, making sure that they have any illness covered there or any type of care. Someone answered yes to life insurance. There's our life insurance review and potential 1035 to, you know, getting them in a better position. If they've answered no to life insurance and no to being self-insured, once again, that's an IUL. Cash value building IUL. All this is going to depend on age and so forth. Our experts on the back end are going to know how to take all this information and really, based upon many things, the amount of money, age, and so forth, what might necessarily be best. Let's say they answered no to life insurance, but yes, self-insured. All right, they've got some funds, but are they positioned correctly? They might be, but that could lead to a fixed index annuity sale if it's for safer accumulation and or guaranteed lifetime income, which only annuities can provide. And married, so if they're still married, you're looking at an income replacement with either the IUL, the FIA. A lot of times we see pensions out there that are paying only to one spouse, and when that spouse dies, that pension goes away. So we look at income replacement. What happens? God forbid one of you two pass on, Mr. and Mrs. Client, and then let's say they have kids. Passing on a tax-free gift, excuse me, via an index universal life. The most efficient way to pass on money to loved ones is a life insurance policy, of course. And then finally, if you want to pass on lifetime income for those kids, you can also do that through a fixed indexed annuity. So I know you're looking at all these and thinking, well, I don't know necessarily what might be best for these clients. I can fill out the information, but our expert on the back end, that team, I'm telling you, I just had my anniversary today, 22 years at Brokers International. We got folks on our sales team who's been here even longer than me. So we've got a lot of experience on this team. So you can rest assured that, where that information goes and is securely, through our LARC system and into a cloud. So it is a secured document that you and your clients don't have to worry about where that information is going. So ultimately, the confidential needs analysis, or the financial inventory form, this is what we're filling out. And then ultimately, you're going to come right here and ask that specialist. And you can upload that CNA right here for the person on the back end to review. But there'll also be some additional questions here, like agent information and so forth, upload documents, any other. So let's say they have life insurance and they're maybe interested in that review. You can scan and upload, maybe their latest anniversary statement. So we can look at kind of what that looks like as well. But it's very friendly. I love the confidential needs analysis. I love just submitting it to an expert. So let's just talk about the steps. You download the CNA. Ask the golden question every time. Make sure that do you have anything that acts like insurance? Submit all scenarios through the LARC system, and hopefully everybody here has received that link. So a small goal here is just to look at writing one annuity per quarter and one IUL per month. That might be a little lofty on the life side, but just getting one annuity per quarter and opportunities for IULs at least, even if you did one every other month, is quite a sizable addition to your business and your practice and what you do. We always talk about the reason to offer so many different insurance channels to your client is making sure we're taking care of their needs. Everybody likes to do business with to go to one place. I always give the example of the pants store. So there's a store out there that sells the best business pants on the market, but that's all they sell. But across the street is a business that sells some pretty good pants. They're still good, but they also sell ties. They sell shirts. They sell jackets. They sell shoes. If I'm looking to get a new outfit for my next meeting, am I going to go to the store and buy one pair of pants and go across the street to get the rest? Probably not. Most people would say no. You're going to go to that one spot where you can fulfill everything. And think about that. There's agents out there that would definitely want to offer your clients life and annuities, retirements, anything, and say, hey, by the way, I can also offer you a med sup or med advantage or whatever that is. So being that one trusted person for all needs, I think, is valuable in our industry. So that's it. It's a quick presentation, and we can open it up for questions.
Questions on this end. I had one earlier about the webinar that was releasing, but that won't come up.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to stop sharing, but yeah, like I say, the confidential needs analysis, it's not, oh, here it is. I'm sorry. We don't use Zoom a lot here, so Curtis, stop share. Now you get to see my beautiful face again.
There
So,
we go.
so anyway, yeah, I'll welcome any questions. I get it. That's not a complicated, form necessarily, but hopefully knowing the importance of that form and why the information is so valuable. Um, I'm not saying that our experts may not come back and say, by the way, I need to clarify or need a little more information on this as well, right? Because we want to make sure we do our job properly.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, getting the correct information, having a wide range of information that you're getting allows you to produce a much better solution for that client.
Yeah.
And no matter what we're talking about, I think that's a very important thing for no matter what side of the business that you're on. This one more in particular because the doors are vast there, right? The opportunities are really open when it comes
Yeah.
to what we can offer.
Well, I'll have a couple questions I hear from other times I do this, and like one person on one presentation said, okay, this expert of yours, how much do they take of the business? How much are they in on this app for? Right. Well, nothing.
There's
They don't
always
take
that
any of the,
question.
they don't take any of the business, right? And they are paid employees by Brokers International. That's their job to run case scenarios and so forth. So they're not an expert on the back end participating in any of the sale or taking any of that from the agent. Another one is, and I was actually down in your office a week or two ago, and I had someone tell me, well, I had a client come to me and say, hey, I've got this money here and I'm looking to do something with it. Sounds like there's a great relationship there between this agent and that client. Do you have to run right by the script and go, hey, do you have anything that acts like insurance? No, you don't. Now's the time to ask those questions. Hey, great. What's the goal for this money, right? Where did it come from? What type of tax qualification is? And if you don't know those questions up front, there's certainly, well, there's more webinars coming up, but certainly ask us, what are some of the questions I'm going to need to know or I'm going to need to ask? Anybody on the sales team can certainly help you with that. But I love it when, so remember, the golden question and the system we're presenting are for those that say, I don't even know the first step to do. Don't get me wrong. And in that scenario with that lady, I said, you know what? You got a good enough personality. It sounds like you got a great relationship with that client. Just have a good conversation with them about goals and so forth. Capture the information you think you're going to need. On the LARC, there's also just an ask a question button too. When you go in and want to submit a life or annuity or just a question, it's right in there, and they can certainly help you with all those as well. So, yeah.
Good deal. So that system will essentially help you with just about everything when it comes to that side of it.
100%. Yeah, we wanted to make sure it's nice and user friendly, and anything you need, including just questions. Met with this client, and they asked me this question. I didn't know how to answer it, and so forth. Yeah, 100%. Now, I will give you a time frame. Kind of, we do ask for 48 hours because to gather a document like that, try to decipher through all that information and the number that they're running. Just keep in mind, hopefully give them the time to review it and get back a good a few options for that client. It's not going to be a turnaround in an hour or a day or so forth. I mean, it could be, it's depending on volume and the ease of the case, but
Sure.
just keep in mind, give them a little time to take those documents and review it. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely a way for you to make sure that you're gaining trust, right? And reassuring them that, right, this product is something that is a little bit more in detail. So give us a little bit more time. Let us really figure that out for you. And I'm sure any client that, of course, you've built that relationship with, will understand that. So
Yeah.
48 hours is pretty good, might I add. It's pretty good.
Well, I like to give an extreme example. We've got an agent that's got a pretty big practice, and he's been doing it so long. He even tells his clients, and he does life insurance, he does fixed annuities. I think he even does securities, and he will go as far as telling his clients that I don't want you to make any financial decision without contacting me first. And he goes, here's what I mean by that. If you're going to sell your car and go buy a new one, you need to contact me first. If you're going to buy or sell your home or buy another property, anything like that's a financial decision. And then he pauses and he says, do I know anything about buying and selling cars or houses? No, but I'm not telling them to ask me to help them do that. I have connections. I want to make sure they're going to the right people. I want to make sure they're not using money that we have earmarked for other things. And I go, oh yeah, I can use part of this money as a down payment on that car. No, remember, Mr. and Mrs. Client, this money is, we have that in this vehicle for X reason and so forth, if that makes sense.
I would definitely say in something like that, in my mind, and when I think about building a relationship and, obviously making a sale and being a part of the sale and all these different things, I look at someone saying, well, let me call my guy, right? Everybody loves to have a guy. Everyone likes to have somebody that they can just kind of go back and forth with, kind of how you were talking earlier, Tim, on just being able to ask questions in this platform and this software. It's just that simple. I think that's a big part of relationship building, and that's a big part of sales, in my opinion, when it comes to that. So just having someone to just simply say, hey, contact me if you have a question, or contact me. Again, like you said, I've got a guy, right? So
Yeah.
everyone likes having a guy,
So
Absolutely.
I'm glad you said that, because, I every now and then talk about how you brand yourself. And that is an important part, is if that person already has a guy or gal, let's say, where they might go, but it's only because maybe they don't know the opportunities that you can help them with. If you're not letting everybody know that you hold a license, not only to sell, MedSup, Med Advantage, whatever you guys are doing, but you hold, if you hold that life license, boy, you have the opportunity to do a number of things. And if your clients don't know everything you can help them with, then, you're not creating opportunities, you're losing opportunities, is the way I look at it. So
that's a big part of the battle.
It is. Yeah.
I mean,
I am quite honest with everybody that when Brokers International was purchased by Integrity, some of our groups that don't do health insurance thought, hey, if you've got groups that are doing health and they don't do annuities at all, we'd love to work with their clients. So when you talk about, who do I offer these products to? You've got them. You're in the right, you have the right database already. Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
Use your people around you. I've said it so many times, again, and kind of building on the same thing, right? Whenever you run into a situation where maybe you don't have the answer, it's really nice to be able to say, let me call my team, let me call my people, let me get on that, things like that. So I think that's a really big part of when we talk about being able to utilize Brokers International for what they are able to provide for us, right? Let me call my team, because at the end of the day, if you're doing business with them, it is your team. So never be afraid. That
100%.
It sounds a lot better when people hear it. That's a big deal. People love to hear stuff like that. So they know that there's somebody behind you that can provide an answer, that can dig and get you something. So yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely appreciate it, Tim, being able to have these type of conversations.
Looks like a couple asked for the link to LARC. You guys can get that out to them. Perfect. All right. Awesome. Absolutely. All right. If there's isn't any other questions, hey.
Yeah, I'll send you over that information, Fred. I've got you fixed up, bud. We'll get that to you. But yeah, so hey, I was enjoying just sitting back talking here. But yeah, guys, so definitely appreciate you attending. Tim, thank you again for having such an open conversation, open dialogue when it comes to this. Because again, guys, that's what it's all about. Having these type of conversations, being able to bounce questions off of individuals. So again, if you need that, if you don't hesitate, reach out to us. Tim, thank you again for all the information. So you guys have a good Tuesday, and we'll talk to you. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.